The Ten Commandments, a covenant with God. After many years of slavery in Egypt, the Israelites were finally free. God had delivered them through the leadership of Moses, parting the Red Sea and guiding them through the desert toward a land he promised would be their home. But freedom came with challenges. The people were unsure how to live together peacefully and honor the God who had rescued them. As they traveled, they reached Mount Sinai, a tall, rocky mountain surrounded by wilderness. Moses told the people to camp there while he climbed the mountain to meet with God. The air around Mount Sinai grew still, and then, suddenly, the mountain was covered with thick clouds. Lightning flashed, thunder roared, and the ground shook. It was clear. God's presence was there. The Israelites stood at the foot of the mountain, trembling with awe and fear. "Do not come near the mountain," Moses warned them. "Only I am to go up and speak with the Lord." The people watched as Moses disappeared into the misty heights of Mount Sinai. At the top of the mountain, Moses heard God's voice. God spoke with power and love, giving Moses a message for his people. 10 rules or commandments that would guide them in their relationship with him and with one another. These commandments were part of a special covenant, a promise between God and the Israelites. God's first 4 commandments: loving him one. You shall have no other gods before me. God reminded the Israelites that he was their one true God, the creator of all things, and the one who had rescued them from slavery. They were to worship him alone, for he was the source of their freedom and blessings. 2. You shall not make for yourself an idol. In Egypt, the people had seen statues and images of gods, but God wanted his people to understand that he could not be represented by anything they could make with their hands. God is greater than anything they could imagine or create. 3. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God. God's name was holy and powerful, not to be used carelessly or as part of a lie. He wanted the people to treat his name with respect and honor. 4. Observe the Sabbath day and keep it holy. God instructed his people to set aside one day each week for rest and worship. The Sabbath was a gift, a time to pause, remember God's goodness, and renew their strength. God's next 6 commandments: loving each other. 5. Honor your father and your mother. God wanted families to be strong and loving. Respecting parents was the foundation of a good family life, and a way to honor the relationships God had given them. 6. You shall not murder. God valued life, for he had created it. The Israelites were to protect life and avoid harm to others. 7. You shall not commit adultery. God reminded them of the importance of keeping promises, especially in marriage. Faithfulness in relationships was essential for a strong and loving community. 8. You shall not steal. God taught the people to respect each other's belongings and to act honestly, creating trust among neighbors. 9. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Truthfulness was essential to justice and fairness. Lies could hurt others and destroy trust. God called his people to speak truthfully and honor one another. 10. You shall not covet. God warned against envy. He wanted his people to focus on the blessings they had, rather than longing for what belonged to others. Contentment was key to a peaceful and grateful heart. After receiving the commandments, God wrote them on 2 stone tablets as a sign of their importance. Moses carried these tablets down the mountain to share God's message with the people. When the Israelites saw Moses returning, his face was glowing with a holy light. The people gathered around as he shared God's words. These commandments are not just rules, Moses explained. They are a gift from God to help us live as His people. By following them, we will honor God and build a community of justice, love, and peace. The Israelites listened carefully. Some were amazed, others were afraid, but all understood the importance of these commandments. They agreed to follow God's laws and live by His covenant. From that day forward, the 10 Commandments became the foundation of the Israelites' lives. They reminded the people of their special relationship with God and how to treat one another with love and respect. Even today, these commandments guide us. They teach us to love God, respect others, and live with honesty and kindness. They are a reminder that God's rules are not meant to burden us, but to bring peace and harmony to our lives. So, whenever we hear the story of Moses and the 10 Commandments, let us remember that they are not just ancient words carved on stone. They are God's way of showing us how to live in His love and share that love with the world. The end.